What if the most dramatic stories in European history weren't written in parliaments or on battlefields? What if they were whispered behind palace doors, sealed by marriage vows, and paid for with crowns, bloodlines, and broken promises? Long before modern democracy, Europe was a stage ruled by kings and queens whose personal ambitions shaped entire continents. In this video, we're journeying through the most thrilling, strange, and powerful stories from Europe's monarchical past. This isn't a dry list of rulers. This is human drama, filled with betrayal, brilliance, romance, and spectacle. Let's begin in a world where a crown was believed to be granted by God, defended by swords, and inherited by birthright. A world where a single royal wedding could prevent a war or ignite one, where a sickly heir could collapse an empire, and where a family name like Habsburg, Tudor, or Romanov could determine the fate of millions. As we move across centuries and borders from medieval castles to gilded Versailles, from the foggy streets of London to the frozen palaces of St. Petersburg, we'll uncover how monarchy functioned not just as a political system, but as a culture of power, performance, and survival. European kings did not rule alone. They ruled through myth, ceremony, and carefully crafted images of authority. They wore crowns heavy with symbolism, staged elaborate coronations, and surrounded themselves with rituals designed to make their power seem timeless and inevitable. Yet, beneath the gold and velvet, monarchies were fragile. They were constantly threatened by rebellion, religious division, foreign invasion, and even their own families. Nowhere is this more vivid than in the medieval period. Europe was a patchwork of kingdoms bound by feudal loyalty, where a king's authority depended on personal relationships with his nobles. Royal children were political assets, sent across borders to marry strangers they might never love, all to secure alliances and peace. This system created some of history's most famous queens, women like Eleanor of Aquitaine. She became queen of both France and England and wielded influence across continents, proving that royal women were far more than passive figures. They were diplomats, patrons, and sometimes power brokers in their own right. As Europe entered the early modern era, monarchy evolved. The Protestant Reformation shattered the unity of Christendom, forcing kings and queens to choose sides, a decision that often meant life or death. Just look at England's Tudor dynasty. Henry VIII's desperate desire for a male heir transformed the nation's religion, severed ties with Rome, and led to a cycle of executions and instability. This culminated in the reign of his daughter, Elizabeth I. Elizabeth ruled without a husband, mastered political theater, and turned England into a rising global power. She presented herself as both a virgin queen and a monarch, married to her people, a carefully constructed image that shows how deeply performance mattered in royal rule. Across the Channel, France was perfecting an even more elaborate version of monarchy. Kings like Louis XIV transformed themselves into living symbols of the state. He built Versailles not just as a palace, but as a machine of control. He drew nobles into a glittering cage of etiquette and ceremony, where every bow, every word, and every privilege flowed directly from the king. This reinforced the idea that royal authority was absolute and divinely sanctioned, an idea that would later explode in one of history's most violent revolutions. But before that collapse, Europe experienced centuries of royal rivalry. Dynastic ambition fueled wars that reshaped borders and identities. This includes the rise of the Habsburgs, a family that expanded its empire not primarily through conquest, but through strategic marriages. It earned them the saying, "Let others wage war. You, happy Austria, marry." They created a web of inheritance that stretched from Spain to Central Europe, but this came with tragic consequences. Generations of intermarriage led to severe health problems, most famously embodied by Spain's Charles II, whose frail body symbolized the decline of a once mighty empire. As monarchies grew more centralized, they faced new challenges. Ideas about rights, representation, and the limits of royal power were spreading through printing presses, salons, and universities. Nowhere did these ideas clash more violently with monarchy than in the French Revolution. Centuries of royal privilege collided with economic crisis and popular anger, leading to the execution of King Louis XVI and Queen Marie Antoinette. This moment shocked Europe and shattered the illusion that kings were untouchable. It proved that crowns could fall, and that legitimacy now depended on the people, not God alone. And yet, monarchy did not disappear. It adapted. It retreated from absolute power and reinvented itself in constitutional form, as seen in Britain. The monarchy survived by yielding authority to Parliament, transforming the king or queen into a symbol of national continuity rather than an autocratic ruler. This model allowed the crown to endure into the modern age, even as empires rose and fell. In Eastern Europe, monarchies followed a different, often harsher path. Autocratic rule persisted longer, exemplified by Russia's Romanov dynasty. Their lavish court life and rigid hierarchy masked deep social inequality. This led to revolution in 1917, the brutal execution of the royal family, and the end of monarchy in one of Europe's largest empires, a tragic reminder that royal splendor could not indefinitely suppress demands for change. By the 20th century, Europe's monarchies faced existential questions. 2 world wars dismantled empires, redrew borders, and discredited the old aristocratic order. Thrones in Germany, Austria, Italy, and beyond were swept away, leaving only a handful of monarchies standing, mostly in symbolic roles. Yet even stripped of power, these royal families retained immense cultural influence. They became objects of fascination, nostalgia, and controversy. Their weddings are watched by millions, their scandals dissected by tabloids, and their traditions debated in modern democracies. This raises enduring questions about identity, history, and the meaning of heritage. Because monarchy, at its core, is not just about rulers, it is about stories. Stories of families who lived extraordinary lives under constant pressure. Their personal choices became public consequences. Their triumphs and failures shaped nations, and their legacies still echo in Europe's architecture, ceremonies, and collective memory today. They remind us that while the age of absolute kings may be over, the human drama of power, ambition, love, and loss remains timeless. Through these royal thrills from Europe's past, we don't just learn about crowns and castles. We learn about ourselves. We learn about how societies organize power, justify authority, and remember their history. And perhaps that is why these stories continue to captivate us. Centuries after the last absolute monarchs fell, they invite us to look beyond the glitter and ask what it truly meant to rule, to serve, and to survive at the very top of the world. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this journey through history, be sure to like this video and subscribe for more stories from the past.